Your immune system is designed to do one thing: destroy anything that isn't you. Foreign cells, foreign proteins, foreign DNA, identified, attacked, eliminated. A transplanted organ requires a lifetime of immunosuppressive drugs to prevent rejection. But a fetus inherits half its genes from the father, making it genetically foreign to the mother. It grows inside the mother's body for 9 months, directly connected to her blood supply. By every rule of immunology, her body should reject it like a mismatched organ. It doesn't. And the reason it doesn't is one of the most sophisticated biological negotiations in nature, a cold war between mother and child that plays out at the cellular level. The placenta is not a passive filter. It's an active immunological firewall, and the fetus builds it, not the mother. The outer layer of the placenta, the syncytiotrophoblasts, is a continuous sheet of fused cells with no gaps between them. This is critical because the mother's immune cells patrol through gaps between cells. No gaps means no entry point. The placenta's outer surface hides most of its classical HLA markers, displaying a unique combination that evades attack. Most cells in your body display HLA proteins on their surface, molecular ID badges that the immune system checks. To the mother's immune system, the placenta is nearly invisible, a stealth barrier that the fetus built to protect itself. The placenta doesn't just hide, it actively manipulates the mother's immune response. It secretes molecules that suppress local immune activity at the implantation site. It produces indoleamine 2,3 dioxygenase, IDO, an enzyme that depletes tryptophan in the local environment. T cells need tryptophan to function. Without it, they can't activate. The placenta chemically starves the immune cells of this fuel, while creating byproducts that actively suppress them. It also recruits regulatory T cells, a special class of immune cells that suppress immune responses, to gather at the uterine wall. These tregs create an immunological safe zone around the pregnancy. The mother's immune system isn't turned off. It's selectively disabled at the exact location where it matters. While the immune negotiation is happening, the fetus is running a parallel operation: resource extraction. The fetus sends hormonal signals that manipulate the mother's metabolism to redirect nutrients. It releases human placental lactogen, which makes the mother's cells more resistant to insulin, forcing her blood sugar levels higher, so more glucose crosses the placenta to feed the fetus. This is why gestational diabetes occurs. The fetal hormones push the mother's metabolism past what her pancreas can handle. The fetus also extracts calcium directly from the mother's bones if dietary intake is insufficient, and iron and folate. The biological priority is clear: the fetus takes what it needs to survive, even at the mother's expense. Evolution didn't optimize for maternal comfort, it optimized for fetal survival. Morning sickness, nausea, and vomiting in the first trimester affects up to 80% of pregnant women. It peaks during weeks 6 to 12, exactly when the embryo's major organs are forming and most vulnerable to toxins. One leading theory suggests morning sickness is an evolved defense mechanism against food toxins, though recent research points to it being driven by a specific hormone called GDF15 produced by the fetus. It causes aversion to foods most likely to contain pathogens or plant toxins, meat, strong-tasting vegetables, and coffee. Studies show that women who experience morning sickness have lower rates of miscarriage than those who don't. The nausea is protecting the embryo during the period when a teaspoon of the wrong chemical could derail organ development. It's miserable, and it's working. This is perhaps the most astonishing discovery in reproductive biology. During pregnancy, a small number of fetal cells cross the placenta and enter the mother's bloodstream. These cells, carrying the baby's DNA, don't get destroyed. They embed themselves in the mother's organs. They've been found in the brain, heart, liver, kidneys, and lungs of women decades after giving birth. This is called fetal microchimerism, and it means that every mother who has carried a pregnancy has living cells from her child inside her body, potentially for the rest of her life. The implications are still being researched. Animal studies suggest these fetal cells may help repair maternal tissue. They've been found differentiating into heart muscle cells near damaged cardiac tissue. Others suggest they may play a role in autoimmune conditions. A mother is never fully biologically separate from her children, ever. The immune negotiation between mother and fetus doesn't always succeed. Preeclampsia, a condition affecting 5 to 8% of pregnancies, occurs when the placenta doesn't develop properly. The spiral arteries in the uterine wall fail to remodel, restricting blood flow to the placenta. The underfed placenta releases stress signals into the mother's bloodstream, causing widespread inflammation, high blood pressure, and organ damage. Left untreated, it can progress to eclampsia, seizures that threaten both mother and baby. The only cure is delivering the baby and removing the placenta. Preeclampsia is one of the leading causes of maternal mortality worldwide. The immune tolerance that makes pregnancy possible is a razor-thin balance. When it tips, the consequences are severe. Evolutionary biologist David Haig proposed the parent-offspring conflict theory of pregnancy. The fetus shares 50% of its genes with the mother, but it also shares 50% with the father. From an evolutionary perspective, the fetus's optimal strategy is to extract maximum resources, even if it harms the mother slightly. The mother's optimal strategy is to invest in this pregnancy while preserving her health for future pregnancies. These competing genetic interests play out through epigenetics, imprinted genes. Paternally imprinted genes in the fetus tend to promote growth and resource extraction. Maternally imprinted genes tend to limit fetal growth and protect maternal reserves. Pregnancy isn't pure cooperation. It's a negotiation between two genetically distinct organisms with overlapping but not identical interests. Growing a human being is the most immunologically complex event in nature. The fetus builds a stealth barrier, chemically disarms the immune system, hijacks maternal metabolism, and leaves living cells behind that persist for decades. And the mother's body allows it, not passively, but through an active, evolved negotiation that we are only beginning to understand.